Back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London, licensed cognitive behavior therapist and a licensed mental health counselor. This is the case of the Idaho 4. This is the part 2 of the Banfield timeline, timestamp, and the reason that I believe it's correct according to what Moscow PD is saying. There's a hypothesis going around that this would have been around, instead of 254, 354, I believe. It couldn't have been earlier and it couldn't have been later because body cams are really difficult to tamper with. It goes through a metadata. It is reserved. It's stored in a server. And even if a little thing is edited or changed, it's very obvious, very easy for the forensic police to see that. The whole of Moscow, Idaho police station would have been under investigation, and the case would have been a Brady Gigolo or the case. The case would have been dismissed. The cops would have been arrested and Koberger would have been a free man. So I do not agree that the timestamp has been changed. It makes sense with everything that I have personally researched from day one. And it makes sense with what 99% of YouTube creators have researched too. Ann Taylor would have been the first person to recognize it, I promise you, because she has her own forensic team working on the phones, body cams. She would have confirmed each and every body cam was on point. Before she took the plea deal. The reason I'm showing you all this picture is I wanted to confirm to you all with evidence that the time that they gave us that the body cam started, they said was 3:01, I believe, or 3 a.m. That's not right. Maybe the cop put on his body cam at 3 a.m., which I doubt, because you can see his torch is on, the body cam is on, others we wouldn't have been seeing the Banfield boys. You can see that's when he stops them, and that is 2:54. The body cam ends at 3:16, I believe. The figures are caught running at 3:12. I believe they came from 1122 King Road. I believe Ethan and Zana got attacked outside, probably near the alleyway, on the way back from the Sigma Chi fraternity. Just all my thoughts, my speculations, my opinions only. While Banfield stop is going on, I believe from the Linda Lane camera, we can clearly hear someone that sounds like Zana and Ethan. It could have been Maddie and Kaylee. It could have been all four of them fighting with someone. I'll be using this under fair use purpose. This is from one of my favorite YouTube creators, the Chaos Sector. They did it really well. And listening to the Chaos Sector is a pleasure for me because my timeline and research lines up a lot with their one. So let me play this for y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe to Chaos Sector. They do excellent work. So you can find this clip on Chaos Sector. I believe it was a year and a half ago. This is around 2 a.m. or close to 2 a.m. So I believe this has to do with Ethan and Zana. Maddie and Kaylee, I believe, got attacked at 2:55 after the 2:52 call to Jack D, and after Maddie Morgan tries to call Bethany Funk at 2:53. 2:55, you hear a female yelling, "Stop it, stop." I think that is when something happened to Maddie and Kaylee, unfortunately. That's after 2:53. But Ethan and Zana is from 1:56, I believe, up to 2:10, 2:15, when the people are yelling Zana and Ethan's name at the grub truck.
There is a female heard in the distance, as it sounds like it's coming from Queen Road Apartments. I can't really make out what she is saying, but the tone of her voice does seem as if there is a concern for something. She has a pleading tone in her voice, trying to get someone to listen or believe her about something. I tried to piece it together, and this is what I came up with. I definitely hear a question in the beginning, such as "why did you?" or "why didn't you?" The next segment is a bit unintelligible, but we know there is a question, so we can determine the issue is urgent. The next segment sounds like the word "stop," and then finally, "please stop." Let's listen once more. Doesn't seem too far off, right? Actually, I think I pieced together a reasonable statement. Quote, "Why didn't you call the first time?" Then, it sounds like she was interrupted by something or someone, as we hear a physical force. There is fear in her voice, as she says, "Stop," then, "Please stop." We know the mind can play tricks on you, as you're hearing what is suggested, but words can be deciphered through distortion. You just have to piece together a logical statement. Considering the female is concerned about something, the logical statement aligns with the concern she had. That's the very definition of deciphering. I will add an audio effect to that segment to see if the words can be deciphered better. Examine. I would say that it's as close to what was stated, without knowing exactly what was stated. Obviously, the tone in her voice is based on pleading with someone, such as asking for help about something. Of course, I could be wrong, but I could be right. Let's continue.
Sounds like Ethan. Ethan.
Not sure what that sound was. Perhaps it's from rusty axles from a vehicle. But at this point, there is someone heard running near Linda Lane Apartments. There is also a male heard, and a group heard laughing, a female, and what sounds like a group of males.
Sounded like somebody said Ethan.
Did you catch it? A male says Ethan's name. The audio has been distorted in my opinion, but certain words, or statements that are clearly heard, such as Ethan's name, can't be distorted to the point the words are indistinguishable, you understand? Just enough to fuzzy everything up, assuming nobody would go as far as extracting the audio. Other audio, which is hard to decipher in its original state, are essentially left as is. Some think audio in the surveillance leaked is fake. I wouldn't say it's fake in the sense it's made up, rather, it's edited to the point it sounds like it's fake. So when you hear it, you believe the audio has been placed into the surveillance. Clever tricks, but tricks are for kids, my friends.
We have one Ethan on Banfield, Ethan Knight, the guy with the glasses, or the sunglasses. So the Banfield boys could have been here because the police stopped them at 2:54. They could have been stopped on their way back from fighting with Ethan and Zana, in my opinion. I've seen many pictures.
A female states, "Oh my God," and a male says Ethan's name. Now, the manner in which she makes this statement clearly indicates there is something violent that has taken place. It's not a typical OMG reaction or response, it's literally an OMG response to something that startled her. If she was startled or even shocked, and the male says Ethan's name, isn't it logical to suggest that Ethan had been harmed or even was discovered deceased?
Exactly.
Let's examine once more with an audio filter. Now we all heard it together, that male called Ethan's name. This was approximately around 2:21 a.m. Something tells me that they are searching for Ethan. Not sure who these individuals are, but based on what I'm detecting as far as the setting, I think Ethan has, quote, disappeared. A female states, "Oh my God," and a male says Ethan's name. Now, the manner in which she makes this statement clearly indicates there is something violent that has taken place. It's not a typical OMG reaction or response, it's literally an OMG response to something that startled her. If she was startled or even shocked, and the male says Ethan's name, isn't it logical to suggest that Ethan had been harmed or even was discovered deceased? Let's examine once more with an audio filter. Now we all heard it together, that male called Ethan's name. This was approximately around 2:21 a.m. Now we all heard that male called Ethan's name. This was approximately around 2:21 a.m. Something tells me that they are searching for Ethan. Not sure who these individuals are, but based on what I'm detecting as far as the setting, I think Ethan has, quote, disappeared. Which indicates that in this particular area, which ranges from the victim's home, Queen Road Apartments, and Linda Lane Apartments, Ethan was somewhere around there at some point. It's a possibility. Mind you, it is reported that Ethan and Xana got home around 1:45 a.m. This is approximately 2:20 a.m. It's possible that Ethan was taken somewhere. Not gonna dig too deep into a possible theory there, let's continue first and together at the end. Now clearly there is something going on here, which is cause for concern. The female says something I will try to decipher in a moment. But the male is heard saying, "No, no, no," as if he was scared of the female screaming something out. And surely, that's what she did. Let's listen once more to decipher what was said, because obviously the male was scared to death about what was going on. I can't really make out what the female is saying, but clearly she's pissed off. But I think I detected the word police in there at the end. And it would explain why the male doesn't want her to say anything, as he doesn't want the police to get involved. Remember, these college students are a part of fraternities and sororities who do not call the police about internal issues. Even knowing one of the frat members were clearly missing or in danger. But the female had enough and wanted to call the police. And the male is telling her no. If this assumption is in fact what she stated, then that male had become aggressive with her mentioning the police. The sounds of the letters E and S are detected. Release, lease, peace, police, decease, listen. There aren't many words that have this sound that fit the scenario of what we assume to be some form of emergency. The first half of the word, or the first syllables, indicate it's a two-syllable word being stated. Now we know the letters E and S are heard as the other syllables at the end, which create the E sound. There aren't many words that fit the scenario. Decease fits the scenario, police fit the scenario, and even release fits the scenario. It sounds distorted to me, which indicates she did mention the police. And then there's the first segment of her statement. Listening to it more and more, it sounds like, quote, "You lied," unquote. And when she yells it, she just yells lied, without the word you connected to it, you understand? Initially she is speaking at normal pitch, as she tells the guy, quote, "You lied." And this is when he starts to tell her no, no, no. Then she gets angry, and just yells lied out. But I believe she did mention the police, in which she may have mentioned it prior as well. This is why the male got nervous. Because we have experience in analyzing video and audio, I want to briefly address a technique used in music, called backmasking. Backmasking is an audio editing technique that reveals hidden messages in vocals of a song. Of course, it's deemed evil or satanic by those who analyze or investigate, as many claim that is the truth of what the artist is saying behind the cloak of the song presented. I believe backmasking was used with the voices in that surveillance, as there are moments of echoing effects of the words before the words are spoken in real time. You can't have this happen unless the audio of the person speaking has been backmasked. It generates the, quote, "swishy echoing effect of the vocals." What I heard, and not to get spooky, was, quote, "they all dead," unquote. Let's listen. It's spooky because the, quote, "ghost" is telling the male they all dead, and he is in denial, saying no, no, no.
It sounded like they said, they died, or you lied. Could be one of them. This is from Chaos Sector, but I really do believe everything Chaos Sector is saying here, because this is around 2:20. If you look at the grub truck, you can hear the crowd yelling Zana and Ethan's name, and that was around 10 past, quarter past 2. So it kind of lines up from the grub truck to the Linda Lane camera, and we can clearly see what is happening in Banfield. We have the four figures running, Saeed watching the pictures that look like they're from a crime scene, a guy with a mask, Kaylee's in the sitting position, and most importantly, we have the grub truck. People watching. Some scary pictures too. So it's the Banfield, the grub truck, and we can hear what is happening at Linderley. And if you look at the timing, somewhere between 1:56 to 2:20, something happened to Ethan and Maddie, Ethan and Zana, in my timeline. And between 2:52 to 3:16, something happened to Kaylee and Maddie, in my opinion. So was Ethan and Zana attacked near Queen Apartments, maybe near the parking place, or maybe the alleyway near Taylor Avenue? This is when we see the figures at 3:12. That's why I believe Banfield, its time stamp is on point. This is a police body cam, not even one officer, two officers. It looks like there were 4 figures. Some people say there are 5, but I think it's 4. Let's not forget what 4chan said. 4, 3 on the lookout and 1 doing the wet job. And the Banfield boys did not look right. 2:58, we can see the police standing and talking to the Banfield boys. They stopped them at 2:54. But I don't know why the body cam says 3 a.m. The Banfield boys look sus. They could have come from having a fight with Ethan and Zana. They were the only odd ones running around so late at night, and they did not look intoxicated to me, just in my opinion. Please pay attention to the guy in red and that group. Now Jovito's watching his phone. I'll show you all his pictures soon. But listen to that group. Zana. 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 Legion. I wonder if this was what they were paying in the Venmos for. Zana. 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 Legion. They must have said Zana's name over 4 times. There, again Zana. Egypt. So I won't be surprised if the Banfield boys were involved, Alpha Kappa Lambda boys, because they were stopped by the police at 2:54. Zana and Ethan could have got attacked by 2:15, 2:20. That would make sense. that they did it in 30 minutes, 25 minutes. What is Hayden with the long hair and Jovita watching? Strange. It does make sense for me that the Banfield boys and Saeed could be involved. Look at the time. 2:58. Ethan and Zana, we heard them yelling and fighting for their lives, allegedly, on Linda Lane, somewhere around 2:20. That'll be like 28 minutes before this timing. And these four don't look right. Even Saeed's hands don't look right. Look at the pictures of Kaylee's watching. Kaylee on the sitting position. She's sitting in the bed. Another thing that strongly makes me believe that the Banfield boys could be involved is we have Ethan, the guy in the middle, who unalived his father, got away with it. Said allegedly it was self-defense. His name is Ethan too, Ethan Knight. So there were two Ethans there. And the glasses look like it belongs to Ethan Chapin. And last but not least, Peter Reagan with the hoodie has a huge bump on his head. So did he headbutt someone? Did he have a fight with Ethan or Zana? Or Kaylee or Maddie? These four are not bothered at all. All look sus. Look at Peter Reagan on the left-hand side with the cap and hoodie. Look at his forehead. He's got a big bump on his forehead. Do you see that huge bump? I'm sure Zana and Ethan fought with the Banfield boys and Saeed, 4 of them. Let me know what you think. And I really believe the timeline is right. Right there shows 3:08, and in 4 minutes time, 3:12, you see the figures running. Please like, share and subscribe. And like, share and subscribe to Chaos Sector. They do some excellent analyzation. And shout out to Bianca Jane and Outcast. Tune into the channels, please. And Skula Marchi. And my favorite person, Denise. Realize, analyze. Thank you to all my subscribers. Have a lovely evening.